All right, so I played a game with the VSR ONE, the new VSR 10 variant by Tokyo Marui, and I wanted to give my first impressions of this bolt action rifle, and actually my first impressions of using a bolt action rifle in Airsoft. This is my first ever bolt action rifle. That's like the fourth time I've said that in a phrase, but I wanted to kind of go over the good, the bad, and the things to be learned from using this kind of platform. So one thing to know is that I won't have any B-roll for this commentary because all of it is basically unusable. So despite all the cool gameplay and everything I've done, I had the caps facing this way, like this. And because I had the caps this way, like a fucking idiot, I had unusable footage, because what would happen is these caps would block all the targets I was aiming at, and you can't see anything in the video because I'm a goddamn idiot. So moving forward, I'm just going to be putting the caps this way like a normal person, and I'll be able to actually record next time. So the next time we go out to record the VSR 10, we'll be putting the caps this way, and hopefully from there we'll be able to get you guys some footage. Now the reason why I'm using this, by the way, is because I have the polycarbonate inside this cap here so that the optic doesn't get damaged. So that's my story. So the good thing, first of all, is that this thing has really good range. So most of my rifles can only reach consistently up to 30 meters. My gas blowback's about 25 meters. So at Tenku, the field I usually go and play at, you guys have seen millions of gameplays of that on this channel. Most of the engagements are over 30 meters. And usually I'd see somebody and I just want to like shoot at them or something like that, and nothing would ever happen. I would never actually reach them, and that's it. But with this motherfucker, it hits, like it smacks. Like I would see someone and I would take the shot and it would hit them. And I think that was the best part of the day, was being able to see the reactions of these people sitting in cover. They thought they were safe, and then they just get hit in the head, or I'd hit them in the foot and they'd be like, what the fuck? And then that's it. They'd be out, and it was just so funny to watch and super satisfying to just hit them with the one shot. Or sometimes I'd do a fight and then I would just peek and then do a quick shot, get back into cover, and then they'd get hit and you'd hear them go hit. Like, that was really, really cool to experience, and the range on this thing was really great, and of course the accuracy was really great. We are using 0.28 gram BBs, and you're only allowed to use 0.28 gram BBs with bolt action rifles at this field. The meta in Japan is 0.20 for indoor and 0.25 for outdoor. There isn't 0.40, there isn't 0.32, there's nothing like that. There's only 3 sizes, and only bolt action rifles can use 0.28. So I was able to get a lot of range and accuracy from this thing, and it was absolutely fantastic. Also, it's really quiet too, so even if I missed the first shot, they wouldn't notice that I was shooting at them. So when I hit them the second time, it would be like it was the first time that you thought they were getting shot at. So really nice for the element of surprise, even though it doesn't have a suppressor, and even though it's louder than like the G-Spec that's silenced or something like that. I was able to remain pretty stealthy with this thing. Also, the new chassis makes it very, very easy to handle, especially this pistol grip. It's a type of grip that I'm familiar using. I know how to use this already. I know how to close my body with this, as opposed to the sport stock that you would use like something with like a shotgun. So I already knew how to manipulate it. I was able to flip this thing normally. The stock is very thin, so it's very easy to UAB flip like this. And honestly, it was just super easy to handle. So let's talk about the bolt. So the bolt, according to numerous YouTubers, is very, very light compared to the G-Spec. So it was actually very, very easy to cycle this thing. So when I was firing, just super, very, very super fast. And it's just super satisfying to do it. And I'm glad that I did a lot of training before actually fielding this thing, because if I wasn't used to the action, it would be pretty hard to maintain consistency on the field. Okay, so let's talk about some bad things. It's not really a bad thing. It's just inherent downsides to the bolt action platform. So obviously it's the rate of fire. So you can't, semi-auto someone like this like crazy. You actually have to rack the thing. And even if you're doing it as fast as you can, there's a limit to how much you can actually do it. So having a low rate of fire makes it harder to face people in CQB, especially if they're super close and bombarding you with BBs. You can only have 1 or 2 shots in on them, and you got to make sure you hit those shots. That being said, I felt really helpless in CQB. Usually in CQB, when I'm in there, like, I'll camp my rifle and then I'm ready to fire multiple shots at somebody if they're moving, or if I have to do a reactionary shot, I'll just kind of spray fire like that. And that it was not happening for this. I felt very vulnerable because I only had 1 shot to hit somebody if I did react to them. If not, they were just gonna spam BBs at me and that would be it. So I found myself just switching to my pistol instead when I was doing heavy clearing. However, so ammo capacity is next. So I kind of do this to myself because I like to play real count and I like to actually manipulate my weapon. So I loaded this with 12 rounds of BBs as opposed to the 30 that it comes with. And 30 round mags is what I use on my ARs. So it's not that much of a difference. In order to actually reload and use this thing and actually feel challenged, I set this to 12. So that actually made me more aware of how much ammo I was using, when I should reload, when I should reposition and stuff like that. But, you know, when you're doing skirmishing from across the map and you're facing someone else who's kind of spraying hundreds of BBs at you and you only have 12, it is a little bit difficult. But even if you were to scale it up, so they have 500 BBs in their high cap and you have 30, it's still, you know, pretty hard to keep up with that rate of fire. So you got to make sure you're precise. You got to make sure you are picking your battles correctly. So that brings us into this last part, which is the lessons to be learned. And the first one is picking my battles. So usually with a semi-automatic weapon or a full auto weapon, I could just kind of take on anybody. I can just kind of spray and hope for the best. If I see somebody all the way down the end, I'd be just shooting mindlessly and just hoping one of those 6 BBs hit them or something like that. But with this, I only have 1 shot. Or 2 or 3 maybe, but usually 1 shot to engage. So you kind of have to pick your battles, especially when the targets are moving. So when you have like a semi-automatic weapon, you can easily kind of just track them by using multiple BBs. But with this, you kind of only have 1 or 2 to try and get them when they're running across the map. The next thing is that because of the disadvantages of this platform and the inherent speed of it, I don't have the ability to be so aggressive, and it makes me play very, very, not passive. I'm not really like kicking Mustangs sitting in a bush Wookiee sniper. I'm kind of just like, you know, how I normally play, and I kind of move around and stuff like that and reposition. But the amount of times I can actually engage people, the amount of times I can actually peek, the amount of times I can actually kind of provoke someone until I have to reposition is quite different than it is when I'm using a semi-automatic. That was one thing I noticed I was kind of playing differently, and it was actually really good. I actually stayed alive quite a bit today. Didn't really get hit. Another thing is I felt like when I did acquire a target, I actually had to hold my breath. Like in the video games, I had to hold my breath to make sure the shot was steady, remember the 0, and then take the shot. And if I had to do it again, I had to quickly rack the thing, hold my breath again, and then shoot them again. That was something I noticed if I had the first shot and I was just trying to get the precise shot on them rather than them already fighting me. Because if they're already fighting me, I would just go hold my breath really quick and then just kind of get in the area and kind of shoot. But when they were my prey and I was hunting them, I would just kind of try and be as steady as possible, hold my breath, and then take the shot. So that was really fun, and that was really interesting, and it kind of taught me trigger discipline to not just spray and pray, because I had to kind of pick my battles that way. So really interesting thing to take from this. Also, I would say that if you wanted to use the bolt action rifle platform in the way that I do, in a semi-aggressive way, you definitely have to train with this weapon. You can't go in here thinking that it's going to be easy peasy. Like, you got to know how to reload your weapon really quickly if something goes wrong. You got to know how to clear jams if something happened. Actually, this thing kind of jammed once on me because I fucked up a reload once. Also, you got to be able to do this really quickly and follow up really quickly if you have to do more than 1 shot. So having that training and having that aiming stability and everything like that, I was only able to kind of do half the things I did today because I spent so much time training with this weapon for like a week. So definitely requires some practice before taking it onto the field for the first time. Yeah, so overall, it kind of made me just move more methodically, not as aggressive. Every move that every kind of action I did had some kind of strategic purpose rather than just running around. And I couldn't move around as fast. I actually had to be on my guard more because I felt more vulnerable. But other than that, this has been quite the experience. And next time I will record this properly and not have these freaking caps up, and we'll be able to get you guys some footage. But until then, guys, thanks so much for watching. Maybe I can make a montage. I don't know. It's really, really unsalvageable. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think about the bolt action rifle platform for Airsoft, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.